You may have noticed that there's a trend right now in the yoga world. It's getting a bit of traction in social media in particular, in which a crew of people are rebranding functional movement and a criticism of popular conventional yoga as yoga. So, what they're doing is rightly critiquing the practices that most of the time they were doing and selling as teachers for a period of time. Then they sort of woke up to the idea that a lot of current, new, modern, popular yoga is quite damaging to the body. And so, in rebellion against those practices, they have found functional movement and strength-based practices usually, and they are rebranding those as yoga and using hashtag yoga in order to capture a following in the yoga world. So this is confusing because they are right in their criticism of a lot of what is popular yoga today. Often practices, as I said, that they were doing and selling as teachers for a period of time until they had kind of a newfound understanding about functional anatomy and movement. And sometimes what they're selling in terms of a physical practice is beneficial in value. Many times what I see them selling as functional movement is actually just a new version of something that's damaging and dangerous to many bodies out there that are looking for healing. So it's just a new version of the same problem. But fundamentally, the issue that many of us who've been teaching for a long time have is that they've actually removed yoga and yogic principles from what they're selling as yoga. Now, much of popular conventional yoga also is devoid of yogic principles and fundamentals in terms of the actual essential meaning of what is yoga. But what's confusing is people assume that because this crew of individuals is rebelling against popular yoga, that means that they're right. So there are many of us that also are not teaching the equivalent of popular yoga that's based in athleticism or an aesthetic appearance, artistry, dance-based movements and activities. There are many of us that are teaching yoga and not teaching those things, but we are able to retain fundamentals, essential purpose and meaning as the primary force and foundation of what we're teaching. And what I'm seeing in a lot of people selling functional movement and strength-based practice as yoga is that they're just selling something that's about the body, that's about health and well-being. Sometimes what they're teaching is healthy and supports well-being. Sometimes what they're teaching doesn't. But either way, they're not actually retaining anything that has to do with yoga's fundamental purpose. They are confusing health and well-being or physical form or physical capacity and well-being with what is yoga. Make no mistake that yoga's purpose is not about your physical functional well-being. Actually, if you're interested in a yogic branch that does focus on that, it's Ayurveda. And in that context, sometimes yogic tools are applied with an understanding specifically of Ayurvedic principles and individual constitutions and seasonal needs and needs based on a person's age and stage of life and things like that. That is not what's being sold by these people. The issue is, though, that they have charisma, they have a following, they create cute memes, and so that can be really confusing and misleading to people that are really hungry for depth, knowledge, wisdom, and are looking for true healing and transformation in their lives. This is always going to happen in the yoga world or in any wisdom-based tradition, because these wisdom-based traditions require depth, they require time. The tradition of yoga itself recommends a minimum of 12 years practice before one even begins to consider that they might have mastery over something. Certainly before one begins selling something or selling themselves as an expert. So it's easy in the social media world to sell yourself as an expert with cute memes and nice sounding concepts. And the reason that some of us speak out about this is because we have great reverence and love for the yoga tradition, and because we have great love and hope for the many teachers and students that are looking for true healing and transformation. Now, if you look at what I teach, it looks nothing like conventional yoga. It is healthy and healing to the body, but I'm always very clear that yoga's fundamental purpose is about the self-satisfied self and a process of that discovery.